Hi guys. Okay, so another week on from my last video. We've now done 1,000 miles in the Tesla Model Y long range. My wife has done most of that driving. I literally haven't driven it all last week, apart from last night where we went out to a show up in the hills, and I drove it for the first time in the last week. The relevance of that is, for the first time we put it into standard mode because we were running a bit late and needed to sort of get a move on. The night before, I'd been out in the 911 for sort of a good 100 miles, going across a lot of A and B roads, and really enjoyed it. Great, typical sort of 911. Last night in this, we were running a bit late, put it into standard mode, and flipping hell, it's just incredible. I mean, I really, as a Porsche 911 driver, I don't know why you would want any more power on British roads, which are busy and crowded with speed limits. Why would you need any more power than what this thing gives you? Standard Model Y long range in standard mode. It was just incredible overtaking. It's the whole fact that the power, it's like a switch on a hairdryer. The power is instant. It's very, very linear, and of course there's no noise. In the 911 you're trundling along and you kick down or something to overtake, and of course there's a lot of noise and a lot of drama, we've grown up sort of associating engine noise, gearbox changes, etc. with let's say performance, going fast, overtaking. In this, it's just incredible. And I think the disconnect between the noise and the drama and the gearbox changes, you have to be careful. You're on a bend or something and you overcook it, it feels like it's going to throw you into the nearest hedge. That's not a criticism of the car. I was really, again, last night we were going across some roads where I know they're not great roads, and I was further impressed, even more impressed last night with the ride at pace, let's put it that way. So I am still of the same view of the vehicle, and I'm a petrol head. I was expecting not to like it, frankly. I was expecting to never want to drive it. This is the sort of the family car, so to speak, where we trundle the grandchildren around. This is the wife's workhorse. I was expecting it to sort of tick all those boxes, and for me not to be interested in, not enjoy it, but to see it as a sort of a Greta Thunberg sort of keep her happy type thing. But no, it's quite the opposite. I'm incredibly intrigued by the whole thing, the whole technology, and the options in the app remote. That's just an altogether another subject. So a couple of other things for you over the last week. I've learned and realized that there is, unlike our other cars that don't have spare wheels, spare tires for flats, this has nothing. Absolutely nothing. You have the Porsches, you have this kit in the Porsche automatically, and they advise you to renew the bottle of gunk every sort of 3 to 5 years. This comes with nothing, so you do need to buy one of these kits. And there is a point to plug this in. I was hesitating because I thought this was all USB-C plug-in points, but there is a cigarette adapter. So that now is in the boot. It prompted a conversation with the wife, which she didn't like, but as I reminded her, well, you've been driving with one of those, darling, for the last sort of 8 years. So it's funny, isn't it? So that, and what we have also done in the last week is, I didn't like, because when we had our little trip away, we used this cable, and I didn't like, and it was a charge point in a town, and there was a bit of a puddle there and a bit of debris, and I didn't like the whole thought of then putting this into the car with other items. So I bought this, It's a standard item available, sort of eBay, Amazon. It's like a chiller bag, but what it is, you can carry it out. It's got handles. It just keeps the cables, and there's going to be other little bits and pieces I no doubt will collect in there for the charging subject as time moves on. But when the wife went shopping last week and bought sort of ice creams and frozen things and chilled things, she was able to put those items in there, and everything was good when we got home. The other subject that I'm spending more time on to think about and work on is a couple of Model Y drivers have got the latest lithium-ion battery, which this has got. So this is not a lead acid battery. All right, let me just wind back here, guys. This vehicle's got two batteries. You've got the big battery pack for the vehicle to sort of drive along the road. That's what runs it. But a number of you will know, and some of you might not know, that the car has also got a standard 12-volt battery, like every other car, which opens the doors, runs various systems, the monitoring, the alarm. I didn't realize that either, frankly. I've now found out there is a secondary battery. It was lead acid. There were problems with those dying, and the relevance there is when, for whatever reason, if the battery dies on this and you're outside the vehicle, you cannot get in. You're stuck. Whereas with other vehicles, even though you've got the sort of battery to let you in to unlock, you typically have a spare key slid into the remote, which you can slide out of the remote. And there's often on our other cars, there's like a little hidey place here where you can put the key in and unlock it. The Teslas don't have that, so there's no backup option, mechanical backup option for flat batteries. So with the Tesla, you have to, on YouTube, you have to put a 12-volt battery on here. That pings open the boot, the front trunk, and behind this panel used to be a lead acid battery. They had problems with that. That's now gone to LCD batteries, isn't it? Got that right? And there have been some issues with those dying as well, and nobody really knows what's going on with that, but it's just prompted a subject that you wouldn't want to be caught out. So when I took this panel off, and I will probably do another video on it, when I took this panel off because I was just curious about the whole subject, in fact I was just wanting to confirm we did actually have the newer battery, not the old battery, because it's not that easy to tell or know. And when I took this off, and I'll do another video on it, is behind here it actually does show you where to jump the vehicle. Believe it or not, it is, Tesla literally call it jump start. I know it sounds crazy because that's how we perceive jump starting a sort of an ICE car, internal combustion, but it's the same principle. So there's another subject there, another video. I've got to do more work on it and find like a contingency plan that people advise having a 12-volt battery hidden behind this panel in a plastic bag with a cable tie. So that means you can open the trunk, and then when you're in the trunk, you've got to then have a kit or something thought through in terms of how you then jump the car to get yourself going. Because if that can fail, there have been some examples of this failing, this battery failing, and it may not be a problem with Tesla. It might be just a faulty battery. It's not necessarily a reflection of Tesla. That's not really us undetermined at the moment. But if that fails, you might find that although that's flat, you've got a full battery. So if you can, on the drive system, so if you can get into the vehicle and get the vehicle unlocked, you can continue your journey. And that's just like a risk mitigation process that needs thinking through for those that don't want to be caught out. Somebody last week posted a video about these caps falling off, and I sort of thought, well, surely not. But look at that. I mean, that there is I mean, it's barely, in fact, it's like loosely. So thank you for the guy on the Facebook group that's alerted us to that, and definitely that needs something underneath these two to hold them in. because it'd be annoying to lose those. They're bound to be sort of a typical back order item, difficult to get hold of. The auto dipping lights, compared to the Macan we've had for the last 8 years, far better. Far better. The Macan was slow and dopey with the auto dipping, and to the point where you didn't bother with it, frankly, because you would upset an oncoming driver before it eventually wakes up and thinks, oh, I better dip. These are good, so pleased with the lights. Interestingly, I noticed this on pickup. I noticed this. I didn't bother to say anything because I kind of knew about it already on the groups. So I'm just holding my phone to do these videos. It's not that great quality. And interestingly, the wife noticed this. I've never known her to take such an interest in cars, and she doesn't like this. So that's something I'm gonna have to sort out. We're gonna put a cherished number plate on it. So I imagine when we get to the cherished number plate, I probably will dispense with this front panel altogether and stick the new plate directly onto this. I've got to do a bit of thinking about that. And she also doesn't like the green. Oh, you're gonna love her. But I guess everybody knows this is an EV, isn't it? It's, I think that's a sort of. I really should make some notes before I start these videos because they're completely unscripted and unorganised. But I think that's it in terms of the summary this week. Oh yeah, sorry, there is the other big subject which I've got to find a solution to because the wife is not happy at all. And that is, yes, we're in summer, yes, it's hot at the moment, we've got a couple of hot days coming up, but it does seem that even though this is a white car, this roof sat out in the sun. I mean, we're going out today, and what I've done is I've parked it under this tree just to sort of keep a bit of shade on it. I know you can do the remote cooling, etc., and we will do that before we go out. But even when you do put the remote preconditioning to cool the car down before you go out, you open the windows for 10 minutes just to vent it, and then you close the windows after venting and put the cooling on, cool the car down so you get in, it's nice and cool. The seats here have held so much residual heat that even after the cooling, very shortly after you start driving the car, the seats just get too hot. And the wife's not happy about that because, of course, yes, don't deny, we've had seat cooling now for some years. The Porsche system isn't the best system. It's not as good as the Land Rover Range Rovers, but it does definitely make a difference and help. This has got nothing, and even with all the preconditionings, etc., it is uncomfortably hot. So I need to find a solution there. It's such a shame that Tesla don't give the options for those sort of upgrades, customer choice and one thing or another, because we definitely would have gone for that. And it's a moan from my darling wife that I need to find a solution to, because last week she did have a couple of strops about this and was extremely unhappy, because it was uncomfortable for her. She had like a 30-mile journey to do, and within a mile or so of the start of the journey, she was just too hot. It was uncomfortably hot. And I know what she means. And I was hoping the preconditioning of the car would sort that, but it's not. Okay guys, that's it for the update. I'll try and get better at these and more organised with notes, but I think my ramblings there have just about covered the points from the last week. From my point of view, it's still 10 out of 10 and I'm still getting used to it. I'd say the main issue so far is the hot seats and the hot cabin. And we're also looking at getting the sunshade there, which is on back order. You can buy sunshades to fix in there. Not sure what difference it would make, much difference it would make, but they're on back order. And there are aftermarket ones. We're just not sure how good they are or not good or problematic they are. So that's another subject I've got to put some effort into. Thanks.